Guys, it's been a little while. We are back.
Yes, we are.
So,
Back on the deck.
as you can see here, we both have matching shirts because we just recently, this past July, got to see Back to the Future the musical on Broadway, which just arrived this summer.
It is fantastic.
And it's absolutely incredible. We saw it with Casey Likes and Roger Bart, Leanna Hunt, Hugh Coles, Nathaniel Hackman, and all the everybody in the original cast. It was pretty incredible. We saw one of the previews. July 2nd we went, right?
Yeah, it was July 2nd. And so Ethan's a very seasoned Broadway goer.
I am.
More so than me. I've only been to Broadway 3 times, and they were all in the span of 3 months, in May, June, and July of this year.
It's been a big summer for you.
It has been a big summer. So afterwards, Ethan shared his secrets of stage door with me.
Yes. So we went to the show. It was great. It was very reminiscent of the movie. We were blown away. We were crying, and then afterwards we were like, we got to meet the actors. We got to go to see Stage Door, and it was at the Winter Garden.
Yeah.
And
we got to meet every single actor except for Roger Bart. He didn't come out, but we got to meet every actor and have a conversation with them.
Yeah, it was
we got
great.
an autograph, and it was actually Casey Likes, who played Marty. He came to us at the end. We were talking to him. He had a full conversation with everybody. We were like the last ones in line. He was like talking
there was
to everybody.
like at the stage door there was like a fence that like blocked all of the audience members off, and then like right at the edge, like that's where we were standing. So like there wasn't really like a barrier in between us.
Yeah,
we were like
right there.
up close and personal with people from the cast.
And he was like talking to us. He was like super cool guy.
Are you guys actors?
Yeah. And we're like, like we're really into movies. It's like one of our favorite movies of all time and everything. And he's like, you guys should start a podcast. I was like, well, we do.
We do have a podcast.
Yeah. And he asked us to send it to him on Instagram, so we did.
We
and
DM'd him. Following the Broadway experience that we had. We were on such a Back to the Future high.
Yeah.
We watched the entire trilogy. We were geeking out over it for weeks, so we figured
it was time to record a review.
It was
We've never done
about
that
time to finally talk about our favorite movie ever. What we consider to be one of the greatest movie trilogies of all time.
Yeah. So Back to the Future's always been in my top 5. But it is how powerful the musical was. After I saw the musical, it's probably my number 1 now. Like up until like July, if you asked me what my favorite movie was, I probably would have said Infinity War. But now, like I'm thinking, Infinity War is probably my number 2 now. But I think like there's no movie out there that I enjoy watching more than that.
It's so. I've never as an avid theater goer, I've seen many emotional shows, and like Back to the Future isn't like crazy emotional. It's like it's a fun time,
exactly.
But because like it's my number 1 favorite movie of all time, because it's my favorite, and because everything was replicated and adapted so well, and it is so reminiscent of the original work. Like I got emotional. It brought me to tears. Like seeing the DeLorean on stage was absolutely breathtaking.
Like watching a movie like West Side Story or La La Land, that takes, for me, like it takes the magic that only exists in theater and translates it beautifully to film. And so you're watching the movie and you get the magic of the theater. This does the opposite, where it takes the magic that only exists in the movie. Back to the Future is a very cinematic, a very big spectacle movie. And it took that could only really exist on film and brought it to a live performance somehow.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing how they did it.
Everybody knows Back to the Future. It's so like integrated into our pop culture that like I feel that it'll have a really long run because it at this point it's not really just a Broadway show. It's like an experience. It's like an attraction at this point.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it.
Yeah, and it's just like it was just crazy to see like they would just like deliver these like all-time classic lines, and people would just like explode into like applause. Like random lines of dialogue, just because everyone knows the movie so well. But like I have my socks on. Back to the Future, and on this one there's DeLorean. I was gonna bring. I have another Back to the Future shirt. It's just I actually wore it to the show. It's just like Enchantment Under the Sea, Dan. I was gonna wear that. I figured it wouldn't show up as well on camera, but yeah. So we're both huge fans of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And we're excited to talk about it.
So let's start back 1985, the original work, Back to the Future Part 1.
Yes.
So I will die on this hill. I think that this, not only is this like my favorite film, but I feel like this is one of the best films for the reason that it's so universal in like a variety of different ways.
Like, name one person who dislikes Back to the Future.
Right. Like, at the very least, there's people that like, oh, I've seen it, or like, oh, that's a good film. Like, everybody has fun with it.
Yeah.
It's
because it does such a good job of just having characters that you want to that you want to love. Like that, like
they're so distinct. Everyone has like a character arc.
Yeah, it's so simple. It's just like it's like the way it's written, like where it's like everything in the first, like, so the first time Ethan saw it, it was during quarantine.
It was during quarantine.
It was like mid to late 2020, and we were on this deck, and I'd grown up with the movie. So,
yeah.
So like that's like the one regret that I have. Like, it was good watching it with Ethan because like I've never had really. I've just always kind of been aware of it. I never had the first experience watching it. And I would give anything to erase my mind and watch the movie for the first time again. But I remember just sitting here watching the movie, and it's just, you could see it 100 times. It's always on TV. Every time it's on camera, I put it on, and it's just like, but like once you watch it straight through, you realize a new thing every single time. Yeah. Everything in the first 30 minutes is there for a reason. Yeah.
Everything fits. There's so many setups, and they're all paid off like perfectly. The script is
like just little things about Uncle Joey. And like things
Save
like
the Clock Tower.
Save the Clock Tower. Yeah, and the thing with like old man Peabody like breeding pine trees and everything.
Yeah, Twin Pines Mall.
Do you know the thing with I definitely told you the thing with Twin Pines Mall, how it's Lone Pine.
Lone Pine Mall at the end. Yeah.
Marty runs over it, and like it's just that attention to detail. It's just so good. It's so well written. It's one of the best screenplays. And it does all these amazing things, but it never takes itself too seriously. It knows how goofy it is, and it just has fun, and it's just cool. Yeah. And that's just something that not enough movies do. And like,
every character has like development in their own way. Like Marty's just more like ongoing. It's a more gradual like character arc throughout the trilogy. The most notable one in this movie is George McFly, and it's so rewarding every time he punches Biff in the face. It's just like, it's one of those moments in a movie theater or like at a drive-in where like you just want to applaud, because like it's the thing you've been waiting for, and it's just like it works so well. It never gets old. It's like in Jaws when it says "Smile, you son of a." It's like one of those moments, you know.
Yeah, like, and it's like, I love how the same movie can have craziness, like the time travel, and like the flying DeLorean, and then like all the crazy sci-fi stuff, and also at its core just be a love story where like you're applauding for like a time machine, and like just. You're watching a time machine go back in time, and then you're also applauding for just he got the girl, and then like they're at the dance and they kissed and everything like that. And it's just like it has such a good heart, and it's so simple. It just takes these little things, like all these things that just make movies great. It make going to the movies great. Things that you love to love are just all here, right? And that's what makes it so timeless, I think.
And like a testament to its simplicity, like it can be enjoyed by a wide range of ages. I feel like there's certain like I tell people all the time, there's like certain cinematic masterpieces like 2001: A Space Odyssey or Inception. Like, some people might not be into that sort of stuff. Like, it takes like I don't know, Inception, not intelligence, but like Inception takes like a couple watches to like understand, because the first 30 minutes is like, okay, here's a character to do all this exposition, so the rest of this movie you can just go, what?
Yeah.
But, and Back to the Future, it's just like, they lay everything out in front of you, it's very easy to digest as you're going along, and it all, like, everything just works out, very, very beautifully. It's so good.
And like there's not a bad
It will never not
performance.
be my favorite.
There's not a bad performance in this movie, really. Like,
No.
the standout is like Michael J. Fox carries it. He's just like,
That man is my hero.
like you watch clips. Like I watch clips from this movie all the time on YouTube, and like you know that like he has like little like facial expression, like the way he delivers lines. You notice something new every time, and like after we saw the musical, I had like a newfound appreciation for the movie. So I would go on YouTube and watch a bunch of clips. And like I've always loved George McFly in this movie. It's so like he's just such a goofball. He's so weird, and it's just like you've never seen anything quite like George's character. Like the way he's talking, the greasy hair and everything, and the laugh. And it's like that's a standout. Michael J. Fox is a standout. Christopher Lloyd is insanely over the top. But even like Biff and Lorraine are just, like they're more understated, but they're both great. They're both hilarious in their own right. Like especially Lorraine, because she's just like totally insane. Lorraine is like a psychopath, and it's so funny to watch. Like the scene where Marty wakes up in her bedroom and like the dinner at her house, it's so funny to watch. I love their performances in that scene.
It's so fun. Just because she's like a mother. Lorraine is everything that like you would expect your mother to tell you not to do.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling me like one of the deleted scenes, like Marty finds out that Lorraine is like cheating on a test, and she's like she can't be cheating on a test. She told me she never cheated on a test. I should never cheat on a test.
Yeah, it's so
He's
funny.
Like, there.
But yeah, and it's just going back to the musical. I mean, like it's just like it makes all these moments work through song. You you get to relive all these awesome moments. Yeah, I just want to talk about that. So that's my favorite song in the musical. Baby. That's when Marty wakes up in Lorraine's bedroom in the musical. Listen to it, it's so good.
Yeah.
And
also put your mind to it. That one's
that
one's a kick-ass song.
The Act 1 closer also.
Something about that boy is great.
Great one.
Yeah.
They're all great. The soundtrack doesn't miss. Not at all. Yeah. But yeah, it's great because it's a story with such rich moments, filled with so many different emotions. Because it's like the whole thing of like, oh, like Marty's mom wants to date him and everything, and like that's an insane. That'll always be an insane plot point,
right?
But because it's so like the world is just like you said, like it's just part of the world's pop culture now. It's not quite as weird and like creepy as it was back then. So for the story to have the kind of longevity to be made into the musical, where it's like it's able to be reimagined and like you get to experience those first feelings of like, huh? Like what is this about?
Yeah.
Through song. They get to delve into every emotion deeper and deeper and make you feel it again. And that's why it's such a good movie, because it's like the deeper you dig into every single thing you feel in it, the more you feel that thing. So like it encourages so many rewatches, and it's just so rewatchable because you just want to love it. You just want to be
everything
there.
is like every setting that they're in, and this goes like for the whole trilogy. I feel like it's very much a caricature of the time. Like it's a period piece, but like at the same time, it's just so timeless.
Yeah, it's so grounded in
works
time,
like
but
that.
it's also so timeless.
Yeah.
Like it can never work if they like. I know that it's like they're gonna remake it with Tom Holland. It's like don't, please don't.
No, please.
Like when they're gonna go back in time to the late '90s. It's like I don't want to see
just
that.
Don't. It's like that paradox where you want more, but you shouldn't. You can't. Just let it be.
Yeah.
Just watch. Like after the musical blows up, they're gonna make like a musical movie, like they did with Matilda, because Matilda, I remember, was a movie that was turned into a musical, and then Netflix did the musical movie, which came out this past December.
I totally wouldn't be opposed to that. If
I
they
wouldn't
just,
be
like,
opposed to it either, but
did
like,
it like a big budget movie version of the musical.
I mean, that I want it, but like I don't know, because I completely respect like Bob Zemeckis and Bob Gale for being like, no, we're gonna block all attempts to like try and
so much for that. Yeah.
make any sequels or remake spin-offs, anything, and it's just
don't protect the sanctity of it.
right, yeah,
There's not enough of that in the world.
yeah,
There's not enough like properties that's like
right.
we're done and we're out. It's like no, usually they're gonna have a spin-off or another sequel or a legacy sequel. Yeah.
The first one is also so good because like it functions in the same way as like Star Wars: A New Hope, where like once you get to the end, like it acts as a standalone. But if you decide you want to keep going, you can.
Yeah.
Because like the ending, it's like a cliffhanger, but like not to the point where like it builds up stakes that are like unresolved. It's just kind of like they're going on their next adventure.
It ends.
You know?
It's not like. Now, I'm not like dissing this movie that I'm gonna say. I'm just saying it's a different type of movie. Like Across the Spider-Verse. This isn't really. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but like it's a part 1 of 2.
Right.
So like that movie doesn't really have an end. The story doesn't end in Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse.
The movie ends, but the story doesn't. So
it's like,
you
we
watch,
need to know how
so,
this happened.
So like you leave the theater, you're like, I need to see the next one. Back to the Future, the story does end, and then the story of the sequel just begins.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a new story begins. You know, so it's like it doesn't make it such a satisfying.
It's so great. It's like it's an ending that I will never get tired of. Rose, where we're going, we don't need Rose.
Except what I don't like in Back to the Future Part 2, like they had to reshoot the opening because they recast Jennifer.
I mean, I appreciate that that's something that we have with the
It's
franchise,
just like
but like
you
it's
could
strange.
you could tell that they did it. They took like the first or second take, or they just like the lines are all like a little bit like flat, like, the deliveries of it. But you gotta respect them for doing that.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. I guess this will be our segue into the
Yeah,
second film,
exactly.
Back to the Future Part 2.
What are your thoughts on Back to the Future Part 2?
So, I really like Back to the Future Part 2. One, because, and I know this is a very typical answer, but they actually go to the future in this one. And even though it's mostly inaccurate, it's still really fun. I love the aspect because it's not just like in the first one, not that I'm dissing the first film at all. I'm not. I would never. But they're traversing all throughout the timeline.
Yeah.
They're going it's from 1985 to 2015 to an alternate 1985 to 1955, and then after that, like they're going to 1885. Old Doc, and it's just it's really like the multiverse of madness, but timeline, or like what the multiverse of madness should have been.
But good, yeah.
But we'll save that.
Are we gonna review Multiverse of Madness?
I mean, in case we want to, but let's not. Let's not get into that.
I don't know if I do.
Nah, I don't really want to.
We need to review more bad movies.
Yeah.
By the way,
we praise too many films.
We do, yeah.
But
I don't even know if we're saying anything insightful here. We just really want to talk about Back to the Future.
Yeah.
But no, I love that. Like watching Back to the Future Part 2, I just like I giggle so many times in it, and like I get so excited. Like we'll get to the end, like the end of Back to the Future too. But it's just like there's so much time travel, and I love time travel. And I love like seeing
just the concept
media.
of it alone.
Yeah, just seeing media with time travel literacy. Of like that makes sense. Like the show Lost has amazing time travel literacy, and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I know you haven't seen it, but it has amazing time travel literacy. And it's just like you're watching it, and it's like that's so clean and it works, and I can follow it. There's no plot holes. And like maybe if you think about it hard enough, there are a few plot holes in Back to the Future too, but nothing that takes you out of the story.
There's only one that I noticed on my latest rewatch, which was when Old Biff from 2015, when he takes the 2000 the almanac, the 2000s almanac from the trash, gives it to 1955 Biff, and comes back and is still somehow in the untarnished 2015. But when Doc and Marty go back to 1985, it's already changed. So how would Biff have gotten back to there? It didn't, like...
Yeah, I never thought that until you brought it up.
It didn't take away from the watching experience at all, because I've seen Back to the Future 2, like, many times since my first viewing several years ago. But
it's at the point where it's like... There's another testament to just great filmmaking that no one ever talks about. It's like, you do so much right that when something is wrong, you just forgive it.
You just forgive it, yeah.
It's there's plot holes. There's plot holes in the original Back to the Future where it's like, they say a thing with Marvin Berry. They get like how it's like, wait a minute. It's like, so the time travel rules are like when he changes the past, the future changes. But if he's the one who wrote Johnny Be Good, then that means he always went back in time. And it's like, it's just at the point where it's like, it's such a cool, it's the rule of cool, where it's just, you let it go. And there's a few more that I can't think of, like that, like people point out about, that's another one where it's like, Lorraine and George in 1985, in the alternate 1985 at the end, like, they don't recognize Marty. Like, how don't they recognize, like, the kid who, like, Lorraine was obsessed with and literally stalked, and the kid who, like, actually, like, got them together, and he was only there for, like, a week, but, he, like, made such a big impression, and, like, why did George hire Biff, the guy who tried to, like, rape his wife? It's like, there's all like little things that people like to point out about it, but again, it's so good to the point where you don't care. You're just, I'm having fun with this movie, and
it's the same thing with the second one.
Yeah, like, and when the movie can get like that, that's something special. No one ever talks about that as being part of great filmmaking.
I love how Biff in Back to the Future 2 just turned out to be Donald Trump.
He does.
He's living in a giant tower, silver hair. Well, everything's just, like, gold.
My favorite line in Back to the Future 2 is when he's in the penthouse, or Marty's in the penthouse, and Biff just bursts through the door and he goes, "You're supposed to be in Switzerland, you little son of a bitch." And that's my favorite line ever, because it makes no sense, and it comes out of nowhere.
I mean, I guess it's just like, this is my way of writing, this alternate timeline of Marty McFly out of the setting so that you're not here with yourself. I don't know.
Something like that.
But again, like, it's not even like...
I guess that is what it is. Yeah.
It's a hand wave, but, like, again, you forgive it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just...
I love how they recreate the scene. They recreate, like, the diner scene. And...
Yeah, this is where it starts to get, like... where it starts to get real cheesy.
Yeah, and I love that it gets cheesy. Because it's so...
Because it's tasteful cheesy.
Yeah, because it's so acclaimed, and, like, they took so much time to make a great sequel, but that doesn't mean that they lost their fun, because, like, they're just having fun with that, and I love how cheesy it is. They recreate the diner scene, and the scene where he wakes up with Lorraine, and it's just... I think it's so funny how it's, like, every time Marty wakes up, he just assumes that it's all a dream, and it's just like, no matter how many times it happens, he's like, oh, it was all just a bad dream. That's so funny to me.
That's probably my favorite, like, repeated scene throughout the trilogy.
Like, 25th floor? 25th I don't know if it was 25th floor.
It's something like that.
You're gonna feel really silly if it's not.
But, Back to the Future 2 is so great also for the reason that this is where you actually get to see the consequences of messing with the past.
Yeah.
Because in the first one, the first one they couldn't necessarily do that because, like, if it messed up the future, Marty wouldn't have been born. In the second one, it still worked out to the point where, like, you could see, like, how much, like, the butterfly effect, I think they call it, how much one small thing can affect a chain of events, a series of events, just the almanac.
Yeah, and also here's the thing that no one ever really talks about that I want to appreciate to all of our 50 subscribers and big audience.
We love you.
We do. where it's like in 2 and 3, there's a lot of scenes where like an actor has to be in the same shot with themselves. Whereas like you have old Biff and young Biff in the car.
And you can tell.
You could tell it's a split screen.
A little bit. Like just a little, like when he throws the almanac up in the air,
you can tell
like
it's
young
CGI.
Biff, and he's just like, it's like, but it's good.
It's
aged
so,
very, very well.
It's so clever because and it's right at 89 it came out. It's right at the point where it's like, it's good enough. It's so good that like, you don't really notice it unless you're looking for it.
Yeah.
But it's also early enough in like when like visual effects were like starting to come to how they are today, where you could just watch it and be like, this is what they did. And you watch it like not to ruin the movie, be like, look how bad this effect is. You do it to appreciate how they worked around it.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a shot in Back to the Future 3 where it's Marty and like it was like his great grandfather or something, or Seamus.
Great. I don't know.
They're like sitting together, and one of them gets up, and it's just like you would tell it's like they're on either side of the frame, and it's like, okay, this is a split screen, like there's something down the middle that they're not crossing, and then I could be getting this wrong, but it's something along these lines. One of them gets up and walks across, but like right when they cross the middle line, like his great-grandmother walks by the camera. So like they cut it there. It's like they had her walk in front of the camera to cut it there, and then just had like an extra leave the scene. And like that's so clever. And it was like unnecessary to get that, but they did it just to blend it even more.
It's so seamless.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's just like you can watch it and just appreciate just like early CGI, or how filmmakers
directing, problem solving
in the late 90s, or the late 80s, early 90s
so well.
Yeah, like how they worked around
Pixar
these
animation.
problems. Yeah, yeah, it's just like the kind of brain that you have to have, and like on the visual effects, and on like Robert Zemeckis, like who directed it. It's just like that. No, it's just like the creativity to find a way around. Ingenuity, that's what it is. Yeah, to just find a way around those problems. Yeah.
And Back to the Future too. So, I think this is like the ending in that film is I feel is very underappreciated.
Underappreciated. It's my favorite ending in the trilogy. One of my favorite movie endings of all time. I get up and cheer. I get chills every time.
It's so good. Like you never hear people talking about that ending as much as the first one, but it's so cool. Where he's like, I know where to find him. I know who to talk to. I know just the guy. And they replay the scene of Marty going back to 1985 from the first film, and then when Doc goes back, he's like, oh, who are supposed to go back to the future? He's like, no, I'm back from the future.
To be concluded. Yes.
Great Scott! And then he faints. It's so good.
The last time I saw this movie. I've seen this movie like a lot of times. The last time I saw it, right when like Doc got struck by lightning and just disappeared in the air, and like Marty's looking up and it starts to rain, and the camera pans over, and right when it pans down the road, you see the two headlights. And I was sitting on my couch watching the movie, knowing fully what was gonna happen. I just see the two headlights, and I was like, I went like this.
It's happening. Oh, it's happening.
It's like we had this for
70 years.
70 years, yeah.
Oh God, it's so good. I feel like Back to the Future Part 2, I feel like most people will say is their favorite because of the 2015 aspects, like how much that was a really big thing when 2015 actually came into existence, because people were like, oh, where are hoverboards? Where are the sneakers with the laces? Where's Jaws 19? Nobody said that. So, but it's funny. I
Nobody
always
said where's Jaws 5. No one said where's Jaws 2. You know,
is I always think back to the Jimmy Kimmel skit where he had Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd come in.
It was on October.
October 22nd. 20 something. 2015, and they came in and they were just completely like jokingly retconning everything from the film. Like, do you have hoverboards? He's like, oh, well, they call them hoverboards, but like they don't.
It's not. How do they get the hoverboards to look so good in Back to the Future 2? Because they obviously don't exist.
Right.
But they look, the way they like bounce around, it looks like if hoverboards did exist, they probably look like that. And like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like I always thought that like, they look. It looks like it's a magnet.
It was so.
Like how
there
it
was
goes
so
on, like,
much thought put behind it. It was great.
Like on every surface, like he goes on like the wall at one point.
Yeah.
And it's just like magnetic on like every surface, and it's like it looks so real. I don't understand how they did it. Like I really, there's one really telling shot when Biff gets when Griff gets on his was it the pit bull? Is that?
I think something like that.
Or the bulldog. I think it's pit bull. When he gets on that and like they go like right toward the camera, it's just very clearly CGI. But like everywhere else the hoverboard is in, it doesn't look CGI. I don't know how they did it. It's
so smart.
Yeah.
And it's funny though because I was Marty McFly for Halloween 2020, and the previous Christmas my sister got a hoverboard, a pink one, which is the one that Marty had.
He did, yeah.
So I sported that around the house.
I think I went down it and I fell off and I sprayed my wrist.
Yeah, you did. That's right. Oh God.
My hand was frozen like this. I was like cursed to be more Italian.
You were like up all night and you watched like Halloween 4.
I did, yeah. I was like, it was like 4 in the morning. I couldn't sleep. Like the pain from my wrist. This is changing gears from back. The pain from my wrist just woke me up all night, and I was just like watching. It was like, it was like Sharknado something, and Halloween 4 were on TV.
We tried to take his mind off it after like everybody was done. Like we were done passing out candy. We tried to play Among Us.
We played Among Us.
Many rounds of Among Us. Wow, what a year! But yeah, Back to the Future 2 still holds up. It's incredible.
All this to say.
Yeah. So
it ends with a trailer for Back to the Future 3.
Yeah, that's right. Kind of like Captain America: The First Avenger.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I forgot that I did that. And yeah, so let's talk about Back to the Future 3 because
the final installment. I will say, I've seen. So the first movie I've seen the most amount of times. I've seen that one 1,000,000 times. The second one I've seen like 25 times, and the third one I've seen like 3 times. And I feel that's normally how it is.
Yeah.
Because it's the original one, the really iconic sequel, and then the third one.
The third one, yeah.
And the third one is not bad. I feel it's definitely the weakest, but it's not bad at all. It's definitely the cheesiest one.
It's definitely more cheesy.
It's the one I forget the most from. Like every time I jump back into it, I remember I always forget like the interactions between Marty and Doc before he actually goes to 1885, and it's weird. It's always like watching it with fresh eyes. It's like, oh, they're in a mine. They're at a tombstone. They're like.
That is really cool though. Like when he actually goes like back in time, and there's like all like the horses chasing. I love that shot.
Native American.
Yeah. That scene is so good. But yeah, it's like it's a simpler movie. It definitely has the least amount of time travel in it, but that serves the story. And I feel like one of my main complaint would probably be like Marty and Doc seem dumber in it.
I get that.
Yeah,
I get what you mean.
And like a lot of the dialogue I don't love. Like like in the beginning when he's like explaining the situation to Doc, and Doc's like, he's like, wait, I don't even know.
They keep reminding themselves of stuff, and Doc's like, what if I just did this? And Marty's like, no, you can't do that. He's like, oh, you're right. But
they're like Doc said, he's like, wait, so this happened? And Marty's like, pretty heavy, huh? And I don't like that line. It's like, it doesn't sound
pretty heavy, huh?
That sounds like it's like he's got to say heavy at some point.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of mixed on the Doc love story.
Same.
It works well, but I feel like it's kind of strange.
But do I have a theory? I have a big theory.
That'll be another video.
That'll be another video around Christmas time.
Yeah.
You've been warned. This is a tease.
There's he's 4 completely unrelated movies. They're all connected.
Mm-hmm.
Stay tuned for that.
Yes.
But, yeah, Clara, who is Michael's mom in Elf.
Hey, don't spoil it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's the same actress. Part of my theory. Yeah.
So,
Stay tuned.
yeah, I mean, she's a fine character, but, like, there's not all that much to her.
No, but it's just like I'm watching it. It's like I don't. It's not that I don't like. Not that I actively don't want to see this. It's just I didn't really need.
I didn't need to see Doc fall in love, but at the same time, though, it's like, what else has the movie not done? We've done they have done the love story, but
it's good though because like Doc he didn't get a ton to do in 2, and I didn't notice this until like I watched it most recently.
Right.
With my brother, he says he's like Doc didn't get a ton to do in 2, so 3 kind
it's
of gives
definitely
him time in the spotlight.
Doc's most prominent movie.
And I never thought of it that way. So yeah, like I guess
it is kind of cool that way.
Yeah.
There's like a little arc there. You get to see him very vulnerable, and it's very interesting.
Yeah.
I love the amount of trains in Back to the Future Part 3.
You a big train guy?
I'm a big train guy.
He's a big train guy,
or a big train boy, as some might call me. So they're like the model railroading they have like in his in his workshop, and then the actual train that they have like when they're like in the big climax. It's so funny, like looking back at that because
awesome.
It's so like it's a lot like the first movie because it's like everything that could go wrong does go wrong. All the coincidences
and all these things need to line up,
work against them, and it's like keeping you on the edge.
But
you know that it's gonna work out. You know it's gonna work out, but you're like,
yeah,
what's gonna happen next?
The editors of these movies know how to edit a third act, and it's just I've seen it so many times. But I always get stressed out while watching.
Yeah.
Like especially in the first one, where it's just like all these things go wrong, and you're cutting from one scene to another right when you need to see it. It's the best editing. And the third one also, where it's just like, here's the gauge, like when it's getting like, well, like when it gets like higher and higher, like a new like burst comes out, and then here's how much track they have left, and then like here they're fighting. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just like
so
there's so much going on, so much chaotic stuff, and you know it's gonna work out. But you're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
My latest rewatch of the trilogy, I was watching it with my little sister because she's never seen them before. So me and my family, we were introducing her to the movies, and in the first and third one, I remember she was like curled up in a ball, kind of just like, oh my god, I need this to stop. I need this to stop. I know that it's gonna end well, but like, I can't watch it anymore. And I'm like, that's how you know it's good. So
yeah. Oh no, it's great.
But you can tell though, like this isn't really a nitpick. This is just funny to me. This is I forgive the movie for this, but like when the train's moving in the car, it's like we're at 78 miles per hour, and then when the train goes by, you're like it's going at a very even 25. As it goes by.
Oh yeah?
But
I don't know trains too well, so
well, I mean so but I love it's so tense. Even when like the train is like zipping down and the point of no return and like the crash and everything. It's like, oh, are they gonna make it on the bridge?
Yeah, and then it's the Rolls Royce accident, which I thought was a really, because so Back to the Future 2,
right?
They have the thing with the chicken, like don't call me chicken,
don't call me chicken,
and his mother, as an old lady, talks about like how Marty got into a Rolls Royce accident to prove that he wasn't chicken, and none of that is in the first one.
No.
No one called Marty chicken in the first movie.
It wasn't something that they thought of until they were like, we're gonna make 2 more films.
Yeah.
It's
because it's weird. Like you kind of like you get the payoff before the setup. It's weird because like you see like how he reacts when people call him chicken in the second one, and then in the first one, you see it because it took place in the It took place in the timeline before when we saw it in the second one, but like you see it like Needles. It's like what chicken, and that's why he got. So like he learned his lesson, and he didn't get into the accident, and then his life became better. And Jennifer had the thing in her pie, so like you're fired, and it just disappeared.
It's so great.
What do you make of the ending of Back to the Future 3? Because Doc's like, we have to destroy the time machine. Nothing but chaos has come out of it, and then he shows up in a time machine train. What do you make of that?
I'm gonna be honest. I really don't know because like it feels like a good ending, but it goes completely against what he's been saying in Back to the Future 2 and 3.
Yeah, I mean he goes against what he says a lot in the first movie.
That's true.
I thought, what the hell? But
Jules and Vern. That was funny.
Yeah.
Vern's freaking weird, man.
Yeah, he was like going like that, right? Like,
yeah, like right towards the end, like after like he Doc introduces Marty and Jennifer to his 2 kids, Vern's just kind of like at the end, like what is he doing?
Yeah,
weird kid.
I saw that. I watched it.
He's got a weird smirk too.
And then where does Doc go? Where does he? I have a theory.
To be continued, but it's weird because like he wanted to use the time machine to figure out the future of civilization, how much we've progressed as a species and such, and he realized in the second movie that with the alternate timeline with Biff, he was like, okay, so very small things with the butterfly effect, these can create like catastrophic alternate timelines that like crazy different futures, and we can't have that, so this needs to be destroyed. And then that all unravels in the Old West, and so it doesn't really make sense, but like it feels like that's what was supposed to happen, because like we needed closure, because all throughout the climax, Marty was in the DeLorean in front while the train was being pushed, and Doc was like riding across the train, like climbing across, because Clara found out that he wasn't lying, and he wanted to go like save her from like dying. And like once he gets her, like that, like it's time. It's like there's no time for them to get back in. There's no moment where he's like, oh, goodbye, Marty, or oh, I'm gonna stay here in like 1885, because like the plan was that he was going to do that, and when they found Claire, they're like, let's just take her with us, which again goes against everything that he said.
But whatever.
So
yeah, I like Doc enough to be like, is this what you want to do? Awesome, do it. Like, good for you, man. Like that's how I feel watching the end of Back.
He's such a lovable character that you can't do that.
The future is whatever you make. Oh, cool, Doc.
Yeah.
Like, have some fun, Doc.
I'm gonna say something that will be a bunch of iconic high schoolers senior quotes. That was a contender for mine, but I decided to go original.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there
was a couple.
What was your senior quote?
My senior quote was I don't remember exactly, but it was something along the lines of like, when you're afraid to take the leap, that's when you're supposed to do it, or you're in the same place the rest of your life.
That's good stuff.
Instead of like, dear Ethan Simileski, today at least you're you, and that's enough.
Today's going to be a great day.
Or like the Back to the Future one, Yoda, do or do not, there is no try.
God.
I wasn't gonna do that, but I wrote it down because I was like, this is funny.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
I like, to the world we dream about, and the one that we live in now, that's from Hades Town. Yeah, and the Doc one, because I was like, that's my favorite movie, maybe I'll do that, but I didn't. It's so sad seeing the DeLorean get destroyed at the end.
Yeah, it was also satisfying. It was like,
what needed to happen.
Nothing else will be tampered now, and then Doc shows up in a big time traveling train. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's fun. Having
Yeah.
fun. If they're having fun, we're having fun.
Yeah.
And that's what makes these movies so magical.
Yeah. There's not all that much to talk about in the Old West setting. There's this is the one where they hone in the most on Marty's what are you, chicken, or like yella.
Yeah.
They really hone in on just
I like
playing
Buford.
with that nerve there. Buford Tannen, Mad Dog Tannen.
Buford Tannen.
Yeah. There's like funny moments
It's really funny. It's a good movie.
where Doc shows up in the bar after he confesses to Clara, and he's like, "I'll have whiskey," and it's like, "Ooh, that's really strong."
The
And,
wake up juice.
and it's just like he never drinks. It's just he just uses it to hold. So the fact that he's like, "Ooh, something stronger, whiskey," that's new. For you to just hold and talk about all night, it's nuts. Wake up juice. That'd be nuts if that was like a
What was
drink.
that? I thought there was like hot sauce in it.
Yeah, that'd be nuts if it were like, you know how they have like those named drinks at the Broadway show?
Yeah.
It's like 88 miles an hour wake up juice.
That would be kind of
Like,
funny.
it just looks like mud.
We'll have to wait till Back to the Future 3, the musical, comes to Broadway.
Yeah. But the third one, it's a really good conclusion. It puts a lot of things at rest, ties them up in a bow.
It's good to see like the clock tower being built. Like I always thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Like, it was great.
The picture and everything, that was such a cool keepsake for the end.
Yeah.
And even though Doc is still traversing through time, and in 1885 at the end of the film, I think it's very cool that the one who dedicated his entire life to time travel and inventions, he gets to live in the time that he was fascinated with so much.
Yeah.
You know,
that's super satisfying with somebody from that time period.
yeah.
Yeah. Another thing, like we were talking about earlier, that I just thought of, like plot holes that you just forgive. It's like, so Marty's, like, what, is it his great grandparents or his great great grandparents?
Yeah, his great grandparents, I think.
Okay, yeah, like his great great grandparents. They're McFly, so they're on his dad's side, but his great great grandmother looks like his mom.
Looks like Lorraine. Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't care. Like,
Right.
were they not going to put Leah Thompson in this movie? It's like, I don't.
Right. Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense, but I don't care.
it would make more sense to have Seamus McFly be Crispin Glover, because it is the McFly side of the family. But then you wouldn't have the scene where he just shows up during his duel with Mad Dog Tannen.
That was
For him
very
to be
sweet.
like-
I remember watching that. Same when Marty like stands down, he kind of like learns from that, and then like Seamus
Yeah.
is proud of him.
It was
That was a
really
really
cool.
sweet scene. I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
But there was some stuff going on behind the scenes with Crispin Glover.
Yeah, I don't even know the extent. I don't even know
So
what it is.
in the second movie, he was supposed to have more of a prominent role.
They
And
just got a guy who kind of looked like him and put him upside down in one scene. It's like,
pretty much,
no,
yeah,
no, no.
They put like
and they fooled us.
prosthetics on his face to make him look like Crispin Glover.
Yeah.
Like when they redid all the scenes from the first part.
That's another thing in the last scene in Back to the Future 3, like when Marty's back at his house. I think
And yeah,
Am I
and
getting
everybody
this wrong?
comes out to see
everyone
him.
comes out. He's in the background, out of focus, and
he's,
he's
like,
wearing
standing on the
sunglasses.
porch. Yeah.
He's wearing sunglasses. He goes, "Lorraine, did you see my other pair of sunglasses?" And it's so on the nose. It's like, so like it covers
Yeah.
up his face, and it's like that was
Yeah.
totally like an in joke. It's like,
But-
where are my sunglasses? It was so funny.
Yeah, but yeah, there was like in the development of the second and third films, Crispin Glover was supposed to come back, and there was like a dispute with his pay. It wasn't like as much as the other actors were being offered, and he was upset with that. And like he and Bob Gale had a whole thing, and it's really unfortunate because he had such a really good performance in the first
He
movie.
owns the first movie.
But like he doesn't really like the movie. His biggest hang up with the film was that by changing yourself and being confident or something, the reward shouldn't be like monetary value and success. He was really like he really didn't like the ending with that, and there were like
he didn't want to like imply that money buys happiness.
Yeah, there was like previous disputes with Bob Zemeckis and Bob Gale over that, so there were arguments about that.
Yeah, but like when you look at that, it's like you just have to remind yourself, like, we live in the timeline where he did agree to do the first movie, and it does exist.
Yeah,
and I'm so thankful because that's one of my favorite performances ever.
And even though he isn't really in the George McFly, the character isn't really in the second or third movie, they work perfectly fine. I feel the way that they broke him out,
the whole thing,
death,
like how he died,
perfect.
That's such a good motivation for Marty.
Because
he gets so close to his dad in the first movie. He's never been close to him, and he gets such a bond with him. So like, you feel that when he sees that his dad died. It works so
well, and everything worked out so successfully. But Biff was like, "No, you stole my girl," and then he decided to be Chad and like kill him. I don't know why I did that.
Yes, you want to work it in. I understand.
Yeah, I
love how
apologize.
How Biff says to Lorraine, like in Back to the Future 2, when they're in 1955, you see Biff with Lorraine. He's like, "You're gonna be my wife one day, Lorraine. Just you wait." And it's so on the nose. It's like, it's great. It is so cheesy.
But
one day you're gonna marry me. Like, okay. I want to end one thing we didn't talk about yet.
Ooh, yes.
Alan Silvestri's score. I love
Alan
Silvestri so much. He might be my favorite I don't know. I mean, it's him, it's John Williams, and it's Michael Giacchino. But I love Alan Silvestri so much, and it's just the music that he does in these movies.
It's so
if you listen to the music, you could see the movie, and it's like, even like I'm just thinking in my head since we started talking about it, at the end of Part 2, when there's the trailer for Part 3, the music is great in that, and it doesn't need to be. It's so, and it tells a story. Like the themes where it goes up and down, it correlates to what you're seeing on screen so well, and it's such a good score. It's just like,
by LA. I only saw the movies for the first time when I was 15 years old, so like again, a testament to it. Just like hearing it live. In the Winter Garden Theater, like bringing me to tears, like that alone should just like be a testament to how iconic and how masterful.
I love Alan Silvestri.
It is.
He did the Avengers, Polar Express.
That's right. He did do the Avengers.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. That's right. Another Bob Zemeckis film.
I love Robert Zemeckis too. Yeah.
So have we touched on everything?
I think so.
Yeah. So I guess the big takeaway from this episode of the Yo Bros podcast is that the Back to the Future trilogy is one of the greatest in cinematic history.
They're good movies.
They're very, very good.
No one else has said that before, so we're here
to tell you that.
Yeah. We're here to break the news.
Yeah.
The reviews are in for these 40-year-old movies, and did I do the math right?
If for some reason, something like that, yeah,
almost 40.
Almost 40, yeah.
And 2 years ago, will be 40 years old.
Yeah. Oh,
they better re-release it in theaters.
They should. I will go see it.
IMAX.
I will see every single one.
Yeah.
But if you have not seen these movies already,
what are you doing?
We highly recommend them to you. They will change your life.
And even if you didn't, and you watched this far into the video, and we totally spoiled the plot on you, watch them anyway, because they're that good that you could know the plot and still get good. Just as much out of it.
I like it more and more every time I keep watching it. It's Definitely. a film that I can put on in the background if I'm doing something because I know it so well. Mm-hmm. But I will also sit down and like focus on just that because it is so good. It's just so perfect. It's my number one favorite movie of all time.
Probably mine as well.
And also, you should go see the Broadway musical.
Go see the show, man.
It's absolutely incredible.
Get these cool shirts. And
the best part about it is just
Pretty Baby.
when they were when they were making it, they recruited the team, the crew who worked on the film and produced the film, so just to elevate it and give it that feel of you're watching the movie but on stage and it's live.
It was written by Bob Gale, who co-wrote the script with Robert Zemeckis of the movie,
and we met him at intermission.
We did, yeah. He was just hanging out like near where we were sitting.
We were going to the bathroom. We were taking a little break, and you came up to me and you were just like, I think I just saw Bob Gale wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and he's like sitting here, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, like they just walked by when I was like on my way to the bathroom, and I'm like, I look familiar. Oh, he kind of looked like Bob Gale. Hold on, it was like,
so
it would make sense for him to be here.
And after we were done, we went back to our seats, like kind of waited by the corner for him to come back, and he did. You pulled up the picture on your phone. We're like feet away from him, and we were like, "Is that him? Is that him? I think that's him."
Yeah, I think it's him. And he is an amazing guy. He's just like
very, very humble man.
We had like a 2-minute little interaction conversation with him. He was just like,
don't remember anything from it.
No, I was shaking.
It was such a whirlwind.
Yeah, and he's just a super nice, super humble guy, and but like just to know that like he worked on the musical. Alan Silvestri, who did the score, co-wrote the songs.
Had a hand in it.
Robert Zemeckis, I think, is like one of the producers of it. So it's just like you have the love from the original, the trilogy, not the original trilogy. From the trilogy, like that's like, and the fans and the creators of these are so protective of the movie. It's like, don't ruin my movie, and they didn't, and they made it. It was incredible. They made watching this makes the movie better. Yeah. Watching this makes the story better. It's just magic.
It makes you appreciate everything in it so much more, all throughout the franchise. So yeah, definitely go out and see it if you can. If you've already seen it, go back and see it. I want to go back and see it.
So do I. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think of Back to the Future. What you think of us.
Yeah, we like comments about us.
About our persons. And, like it, share it, subscribe. Hopefully, with us starting college pretty soon, we'll still be able to upload pretty regularly.
Yeah, we want to try and do...
No promises on our schedule, but...
If we can, we want to try and do... I think we should do more mini reviews, like out-of-the-theater reactions like we did with Spirited.
Definitely.
Recently, we've really gotten into lists, tier lists, and like rankings.
I think tier lists would be a fun addition onto this.
So yeah, we don't know what the future holds. We're gonna try to expand, but we're not promising anything because we are starting a new chapter of our lives.
The future is yours to make of it, right? Isn't that the quote? The future is
something of it. Make it count. I don't know, something like that.
At the end of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so this is a guarantee though. Around Christmas time. This isn't one of the countless empty promises that we've made on this channel.
Right.
But around Christmas time, you will hear my theory. I wrote like a 3-page document about a big theory I have tying the Back to the Future movies to many other movies that might surprise you. And we're going to go through it.
Yeah. And your minds are going to be blown. It's a really good theory, guys. So definitely stay tuned for that. But yeah,
that's it, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. We are the Yo Bros, and we want to talk to you about stuff.
Great Scott.